Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft The End. Today we will be reading chapter 15. It is titled A Little Rain. Starts on page 153 and ends on page 164. If you guys have enjoyed our series so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Minecraft novels and books. Without further ado, chapter 15, A Little Rain. Mo. The thought The thought wafted in through the window of Jack's grand house like steam off a warm cake. Familiar and comforting and sweet. Mo? Mo was asleep, in a bed that didn't explode. She'd always slept curled up on the floor of the ship with her brother like stray cats. But Jackson insisted she sleep in a proper bed. It was safer, he promised. In the morning, they'd try a few witches' potions on her and see if anything sparked her memory. She didn't really like the sound of witches' potions. Who was this witch? Did she run a clean kitchen? Could Mo trust her potions? Could Mo trust Jack's? What was a witch, anyway? But Jax was determined to know where she'd gotten the egg and the totem. Mo certainly wanted to know, too. Maybe. Maybe she didn't. If she'd done something terrible to get them, maybe it was better not to know. He hadn't taken them away from her. She appreciated that, at least. Jax was very strict about this sort of thing. Clearly, her loot was her loot, and he wouldn't take it. If Jax was everything else Kraj and the Mouth had ever said of humans, he still had some morals, more than Kraj did. On the end of the bed, right next to her feet, Loathsome, the zombie horse, snored femininely. Her big, moldy nostrils flared every gurgling breath. Mama! Loathsome snored contentedly. Brains. Mo. Mo was dreaming. The thought tried to find her in a dream. Mo was dreaming of the Inner Dragon's Island, only it wasn't the Inner Dragon's Island. Not quite. The same yellow sandy rock, the same obsidian pillars, the same crystal flames in the silver cages, the same tall black Endermen floating in their mist of hazy purple telepathic particles. The same horribly gorgeous, massive lizard soaring through the sky, only the sky wasn't black. It was bright blue, like the sky in the overworld. The sun shone down like a lamp. Mo stood on top of one of the pillars, and the Enderman was standing next to her. But it wasn't Finn, or Can, or Karshan, or Lop. It was Kraj. Without saying a word, Kraj reached out and grabbed her arm. It came off in his strong hand. Poor endless trash frags. Kraj thought. He put his hand on her other arm. It came off as easily and painlessly as pulling up a blade of grass. You will find that in periods of war, necessities are a waste of time. He reached down and pulled off her leg at the knee, and almost everything is necessities. In the end, there was no pain. But Mo stumbled, trying to keep her balance. She tried to tell him not to take her leg. She needed it. The army didn't need both legs, did it? But no words came out of her mouth. Commander Kraj stretched out his fingers to take the other leg. Everyone must give something up so that the end can go on. Mo hopped away. Kraj floated toward her. He was so tall. Mo dreamed she heard voices coming from far below. Different people, all talking at once. Go, go, go. Go without me. I'll be fine. Green boy, my green boy. I can feel it coming, like a tsunami. First the water retreats, and for a minute you think everything is going to be okay. Then it rises up and washes everything away. I love you. I love you. Then, suddenly, the Enderman towering over her wasn't Kraj anymore. He had strange blue eyes in his giant ender head, blue eyes and a necklace of ender pearls. Mo knew those eyes. It was Jax, trapped in the Enderman's body, just the same way Mo had been trapped. Ender Jax handed her arms back, then her leg. You did it, he whispered to her. You killed him. I'm so proud of you, Mo. Mo woke up with a little scream. I didn't do anything, she moaned. Lonesome looked up at her out of the droopy, goopy eye. The demon pony went tense, ready to protect her mother from anything. But there was nothing there, just the quiet little thought in her head. Mo. The human girl looked all around the dark bedroom, not even the torch to see by. She stood up on the narrow wooden bed of her tiptoes and peered out of the window. Mo stared down out into the moonlight valley where Jax lived. Soft green grass, hard gray hills, lilacs and poppies waved back and forth in the night breeze. They shone black and gray in the shadows instead of violet and red. Mo, it is me. Two bright green eyes opened up in the dark. Can was down there in the grass, 2 stories below, looking up at her. He was sitting on his note block. Hi, Can thought. Hi, thought Mo. Brains, thought Lonesome decisively. Shh, Mo hissed. Brains, the pony whispered. Can, what are you doing here? If Jack catches you, he'll kill you. Actually kill you. I will catch him first. He killed Lop. Can blinked. Really? She is just dead? Mo nodded. He took her pearl. What a perfect human. Can spat. No, you don't understand. She was going to kill me. She was all by herself. Her mind was nothing but murder, and I tried to talk to her, but she was just dangry. Like Finn always says, you know what we're like alone. Oh, what are we like? Mo went pale. She couldn't be included in we anymore. She wasn't we. She wasn't us. She was just a human like all the other humans, and Can was supposed to be her enemy. Can relaxed. Never mind, he thought. Sorry. Do not listen to me. It does not matter. Mo looked out beyond the shadowy patch where Can stood. Wait, you're all by yourself? She thought hesitantly, not wanting to offend him. Are you okay? Are you Can? I know, it is weird. Turns out I've been by myself a while now, but I am just me. He held up his long black hand in the dark. He was completely calm. His thoughts felt as cool and collected as glass of water. See? No roar, just Can. What do you mean, for a while? Mo, you are not an Enderman. Neither is Finn. Grumpo sure is dark, and the Great Chaos is not. So, if you think about it, I have been all by myself every time the three of us have been together, and I have played my note block better than anyone alive, and not killed anyone or eaten my own toes or walked off an island into nothing. Mo felt the chill in her guts. She was human. That explained a lot. So, what was Can? What could explain this, huh? That's something we should talk about, don't you think? Probably. But there are more important things going on right now. At the moment, I am choosing to believe I have Enderman superpowers, and leave it at that. I came to rescue you. Can winced. That sounded stupid. I felt stupid. But he had. He'd come all the way up to the Badlands for her. Rescue me? But I'm fine. We're fine. Jax is going to experiment on me tomorrow. Cam blinked again. Sounds great. Torture after lunch, then? Maybe a little slice and dice before bedtime? Mo, even for a human, Jax is bad news. He says it's got to be my memory back. He's got to get my memory back. He said a lot of things, Can. I don't know what to believe. He's pretty mad at me right now, to tell you the truth. Well, believe that I am your friend, that I have always been your friend. I will always be your friend. I have always told you the truth. I have never experimented on you, and I will never leave you behind. Also believe that it is probably a bad idea to let someone who is pretty mad at you experiment on you. Mo blinked. That had never occurred to her, that Jax might hurt her on purpose. No one in the history of Mo's life had ever meant her harm. The worst thing that had ever done was simply to leave her alone with nothing. Let us go. I know where our portal is. If you are quiet, we can just slip back through before he knows what happened. We will be careful so he cannot follow us back to the end. He will not be able to kill ED or anyone else, and it will not matter what he is mad at, but the others. I do not think they are quite the same. They have all just been hanging out with Finn on this weird little island by the ship. They are not hurting anybody. None of them killed Lop. They have not killed anyone. It is strange. Honestly, I keep expecting them to start killing, and they continue to kill nothing. I do not know what to make of it. Are you spying on them? An image opened up in Mo's mind, a beautiful banner unfurling on one of the tallest violet towers of Telos. Can smiled. I am a spy after all, he thought, proud of himself. Grumpo, let me hide in the box. Mo practically jumped over the windowsill in excitement. What? Grumpo never lets anyone in that box. He hates Finn least of anyone, and all he's ever let him do is stand a foot away and put one finger on the lid, and he still bit him. You two ran off without a word to Grumpo, and I think he is feeling very frightened. If a shulker can feel frightened, where did you find Grumpo anyway? I have never met a shulker like that. You know they do not usually talk, right? They do not usually anything. I guess I never thought about it till now, till everything. I never met an Enderman like you either, and I bet until about a day and a half ago, you'd never met a human like me. What was it like in that box? Crowded, dark, a weird odor. He refused to let me light a torch. And he said something strange. He said, stay in here with Grumpo forever. We can hate everything together. Is that not the oddest idea? I left the box quickly after that, Mo. Mo, Can thought, sliding his eyes off toward the other windows. Jack's window. I do not want to keep talking like this. Come out. Come with me. Come home. It is okay. I am not mad. It is not your fault. I understand that now. I was just upset. I wanted my life to make sense, and it still does not. But it is not about me right now. We need to make your life make sense, and you can only do that with us. Your twin and your ship and your shulker and me. Your end. Jax is not your end. He is just a hunter who wants to catch something unique. All hunters do, and you are very unique. Mo looked over her shoulder toward the bedroom door. I don't know, she thought. Maybe he has answers. You don't know what's happened. I had something in my pocket. I didn't even know about it. A couple of things. The totem she didn't really understand. It didn't matter to her at all. The pearl she understood completely, but she couldn't tell Can about it. There were some things too wrong to forgive. And what if he saw Lop's pearl and knew who it came from? He'd never speak to her again. One of them is a dragon's egg, and Jack said there's only one way I could have gotten one. And if I got it that way, I should never ever go back to the inn, no matter what, forever. I do not care what you have in your pockets. There was nothing you could have done that would change my mind about you, Mo. You turned out to be a human being, and I'm still your friend. I am still here for you. In the awful old overworld where I do not want to be at all. Ken held up his long, black arms to her. I do not want you to be experimented on. Come home. Remembering is so overrated. Mo looked over at Lonesome. She patted the horse's greasy hair. She could see Lonesome's huge heart not beating between two gleaming ribs. Mama, same. The zombie beast thought. You're right, love. We are the same. Can, me, and Finn, and you, and Grumpo, and the ship, and home. I don't know how you can be so smart. You were only just born, or died. However it works. Either way, both ways. Lonesome winked one milky dead eye. Brains, she thought. I'll come down, Mo thought. Ken shook his dark head. He held out his slender fingers toward the stone wall. A block disappeared. He lifted his fingers a little higher. Another block vanished. All hail the great chaos. Mo thought, and in Can's mind, the image of a golden chest plate glinting in the evening light of the end bloomed. It was Mo's smile. She held out her hand toward the window sill. Human or not, the little violet particles still danced around her fingers, more faded and paler than they used to be, but still there. The stone shimmered and hissed away into the air. Mo stretched out her arm again and erased another square of the wall. May the great chaos smile upon you, thought Can, as as the castle disappeared around him. Block by block, the Enderman and the human moved toward each other, making a staircase out of the remains of the wall as they went. Mo stepped down, Can stepped up. The torches over the moat glowed golden. Jax's house opened up all around them, and when you lay open to the world, strange things could happen that would never find you if you stayed locked up behind orderly walls. Strange things like an Enderman rescuing a girl and her zombie. This was the whole purpose of the Great Chaos. That was how Mo knew it was the right thing to do. Human or not, she still believed. In her infinite pocket, the dragon egg glowed coldly. Can grabbed Mo's hand. I didn't need rescuing, she thought. I could have just left any time. Can shrugged awkwardly. Okay, it is thought that counts. Can we at least tell Finn I rescued you, though, very bravely? Mo laughed in the quiet between their minds. Sure. Come on, he thought. I feel pulled toward the nearest portal. I think I can sense the eyes of the Ender. But we have to be fast. It will be daylight soon. We will teleport. That is easiest. Ready? Mo pulled back. Frozen. Can still thought of her as she had always been. It hadn't occurred to him yet that humans couldn't teleport, that she must not be doing it on her own, and Mo couldn't tell him. She just couldn't. He wouldn't understand. He just know that the inner pearl she'd used to teleport all over the end, all during their childhood, used to be somebody's heart. And he hated her for that. She wouldn't even let herself think about it. Can would see the shriveled, dying inner pearl in her mind. What is wrong? Nothing. Losum can't teleport. So that is what's wrong. Oh, right. Losum burbled. A spite bubble swelled up on her lips and popped, but she didn't neigh. Zombies know how to be quiet occasionally. Mama, the ponies wheezed. Rains. Ken winced. There were sores and moldy streaks all along the horse's back, but she'd be faster than she could manage on foot, by a long shot. Mo hopped up onto Losum's back. It wasn't the nicest. It was a little wet and a little cold, a little slimy. But Losum was a little hers. So Mo didn't judge her. She pulled Can up behind her. I came to rescue you, he thought huffingly. I should ride in front. My horse, my seat preference, Mo thought. Exits to the side and rear of the minecart. What? Can thought confused. I don't know. What a strange thing to think. I don't know where it came from. What's a minecart? How should I know? You thought it. Mo shuddered in the dark. The moon came out from behind a cloud. It lit up Losum's green and undead mane. The horse took off away from Jack's great house into the hills, leaving nothing but hoofprints behind her. Neither Mo nor Can looked back. They rode for half an hour before Can squeezed his knees against Losum's flanks. The zombie stopped obediently, though she narrowed her eyes and growled a little. Can wasn't her mama, and he couldn't tell her what to do. Endermen had brains enough to eat. It is here, he thought, in that spot, but far under the ground. I can sense the portal. Can pointed a short ways off toward an area with a sand dune on one side and an overhanging cliff on the other. Surrounded by huge leafy trees, Mo couldn't see any cave or passage underground, but she trusted Can. If he said it was there, it was there. The moon dimmed and vanished. Thunder cracked in the distance. somewhere behind them. Mo and Can heard the little speckled sound of rain starting to fall. Oh no, Can thought in terror. No, no, no! The cliff, Mo thought quickly. Get under it. It'll be enough. The grass hangs over the edge and there's a little hollow there. It's almost a cave. You'll be fine. Lonesome ran for the cliff. Endermen cannot bear water. For them, water is death. Ken's breath came in great, hitching gasp. He teleported instantly off the horse's reeking back and appeared in the sandy patch beneath the overhang. Lonesome galloped full tilt after him. The first drop started to fall. Mo dismounted. She stood here in the grass, outside the safety of the cliff. The rain fell in big, loose drops on her warm human skin. It fell harder and harder. She was soaked. She was soaked and it didn't hurt at all. It felt amazing. The crackle of ozone in the air, the smell of fresh greenery in the wind, the excitement of thunder. All the little tiny hairs on her arms stood on end, but it didn't hurt. Of course it didn't hurt. Mo raised her hands up as far as they would go and looked up into the stormy skies. All that fear, all the grief, all that hatred of the rain that had killed her husband washed away. It had never happened. Whoever her parents were, dead or alive, it wasn't rain that had taken them from her. Rain was just water, cool and wet and sweet. She laughed and spun around. Rain wasn't death. It was wonderful. But then she stopped laughing. Can stared miserably at her from under the little cliff. Shivering, frightened, trapped, rain trickled down off the overhang into a growing puddle. One toe in the puddle, and Can would fade away, leaving only a pearl behind. Like 1,000 other Endermen, the human and the Enderman stood helplessly, separated forever by who they were. They had been able to fool themselves until right that second. That nothing had changed, that Mo could teleport and Can could survive in the overworld, that they were still the same people they'd always been, still an end. But Mo and Can were nothing alike. They could never be alike. Well, go as soon as it stops, Mo said awkwardly. I'll carry you to the stronghold. Can said nothing. He watched the sky after a long while. He took out his noteblock, set it on the muddy ground, and began to play. His music filled up the field and the night, sad and sweet and strange. The music of the end echoed through the overworld for the first time. Mama, groaned Lonesome, as water dribbled through the holes in her body into the mud. Rain. Yeah, baby, answered Mo, as the delicious, delightful storm drenched her from head to foot. Sure is something, isn't it? That wraps up chapter 15. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button. I will see you guys next time.